Hello, my name is Ethan, and welcome back to another episode of Path of Exile Delirium League 3.10. Good morning, guys. How are you doing? Welcome back to another episode. This one is going to be about endurance charges. This is mostly specifically as a Necromancer, as a witch, as a person or character Ascendancy that can't just get free endurance charges. This is and I'd say physical damage reduction and armor is some of the hardest stuff to get in this build. So this is what we're going to focus on, endurance charges for today, because there's been a lot of questions recently asking me about endurance charges, and I want to put together a little video explaining them, why we use them, how to get them the most consistent, and what I like the most out of the new stuff. So let's boom. Enduring Ward. What is this? This is a new notable added from the cluster jewels, and it says, I sum it up because I write things a lot better than the way, okay, just 20% when block. Need high block. And then it's still only a 1 in 5 on a block. So to again say this differently, let's say you had 100 block, you have to get hit 5 times to generate 1 endurance charge. To generate 3 at 100%, 15 hits. You do the math on that, you tell me if it's good. 6% chance to block attack damage while at maximum endurance charges. Woo! Enduring Ward. So you're a max block build and you have to be hit 1 billion times. Okay. Enduring Focus. This is another new notable. This one's a lot better. While channeling, it says permanent endurance charges. Do you see that there? Okay, so 25% chance to gain an endurance charge each second while channeling. So if you're channeling in 4 seconds, you're going to generate an endurance charge. So if you just keep channeling, you're just going to keep generating endurance charges, keeping yourself at max. So instead of this last one where you have to get hit and you have to block, you just channel. Wait, Cyclone? Okay, guys, keep this one on the side. We'll come back to it. I don't use this currently, but it is the plan in the future. I have some already Enduring Focus jewels that are really insane, and I've been saving them, but you have to be channeling. Now we have the Easy AFK mode, Enduring Composure. So this is the one I currently use in the build, and it's... So instead of needing to get hit 15 times to get your endurance charges, this one says get hit once, and now wait 3 seconds, and you have all 3. So the difference, obviously, is that if you got hit 15 times in 1 second, the block one is better with high block because you would get all 3 endurance charges instantly. And this one, no matter how many times you get hit, you're getting 1 a second. But recently refers to 4 seconds. This generates a lot of endurance charges. It's perfect for Immortal Call. And it's AFK. Doesn't require the block, which would require Bone Offering and the potion to have high block, and this is AFK. So, Rote Reinforcement, another on block, so 20% on block. High block, 1/5 on block, 5 blocks to generate 1 endurance charge, 15 blocks to generate 3, let's assume 50% block, 30 hits before you get 3 endurance charges, and then you get an extra 20 life, 4% chance to block attack damage. Those are just good, like, this is just a solid notable, sure, but out of them, this is the most consistent AFK, this is the most consistent aggression, like active while channeling. So again, it's funny how channeling is our strongest goddamn thing. You know, in the future we might want to focus. We might figure out how to focus. But either way, you get all these endurance charges and you use them in the Immortal Call. So what's an Immortal Call? It's this spell, and it's a guard skill, so it matches like Molten Shell and Steel Skin. They all share the same cooldown. You can't use all of them. So this is in replacement of a normal Molten Shell or Steel Skin or Bone Armor from the Necromancer Ascendancy. And what this does is when you activate it, it'll consume endurance charges, and it'll also make you take less physical and elemental just as a base, and then gives you more physical damage reduction and a longer duration on it, the more endurance charges up to 5. So I wrote here on the left that we use this Immortal Call with a cast and damage taken level 1 setup. So we use a level 3 Immortal Call. So the level 3 Immortal Call is 26%. I wrote it here, 26. So 25 to 34, we have 26% less elemental and physical. And then the extra 3 endurance charges gives you an extra 45% less physical damage taken, because right here 15% less per endurance charge and 45. So in total we have 71% less physical damage, and the duration, instead of 1 second, it gets extra 3 stacks of 20% increased buff duration because of the 3 endurance charges. And then it's funny that this has a cooldown of 3 seconds. So I realized that if you get hit with your Immortal Call, it blocks damage always, and then also can block more damage if you have the endurance charges. And then I found out that when you get hit with Immortal Call and it consumes your endurance charges, it then triggers Enduring Composure, which means you've been hit recently, and recently is 4 seconds, so gain an endurance charge every second. 1, 2, 3. 3 seconds to match the Immortal Call. You have 3 endurance charges, which is your max for the Immortal Call. Boom! It's broken. It's perfect. So Enduring Composure and Immortal Call is absolutely goddamn insane. It's AFK. It's broken. And then this is the consistent endurance charges while channeling. And then you could do all the channeling stuff where you have like Fortify, and you could get stun immune, you're phasing because you're Cyclone. You have your endurance charges. Like, the amount of stuff we're getting out of channeling is pretty disgusting. We do our Bone Offering, Desecrate. We could even, if we had 6-linked it, using the infused channeling to get the physical damage reduction again. Like, oh my god, there's a reason we did that before. Either way, Fortified Boots look pretty fucking good. And all this endurance charge stuff is disgusting with Immortal Call. Since we want to do endurance charges because we have low physical damage reduction, and it's pretty easy now, then you combine it with Immortal Call and it's pretty good damage reduction. Oh my god, what is this, Ethan? We're combining videos. So videos ago I made a Animate Guardian video, and I recommended that people could use, not saying it was great, it was saying like, hey, I did use this before because of endurance charges in the past when I was trying to make a tankier version of my build, which is when I figured out that when you go super deep delving you can't tank, so it doesn't matter. So then put this on your Animate Guardian and free endurance charges when he is crit. This was a way to generate endurance charges for the AG, and then it would share it to nearby party members, which was us. And when he got hit, he would gain 2% of life. It was a budget 1C, 1 Elk chestplate before for the AG instead of using the garb of the ephemeral, but yeah, this is a really shitty way of generating endurance charges, and people in the past for like many videos would be like, how the hell do you get endurance charges in the build? And I would tell them ambush charge, and then they would tell me that doesn't work, ambush charge is shit, ambush charge doesn't generate endurance charges and share them, what are you talking? It was very annoying, but it does work, and it's not very good. It's very unreliable. Oh my god, what is this? This is a reliable potion. So, this says remove 20% of your maximum energy shield. That doesn't matter. And you take 10% of your maximum life as chaos damage. We have 70% chaos res, 74%, some pretty high chaos res. So, we'd only take 2.5% of our max life as damage, which isn't very much. Because it's chaos, and then we have chaos res. So this potion basically says, on use, gain all 3 charges. So gaining all 3 charges on a click is pretty powerful. I also found that this pot triggers, on the wiki it says, the self-inflicted damage from this flask counts as being hit. So let's go back a few pages. Gain an endurance charge every second if you've been hit recently. So, potentially, you click this, and then, well, no, it is that way. You click this flask, and you're hit. So you can trigger your endurance charges coming up, and now you have them forever. And yeah, I don't know, a little broken. Free charges also, you just click this a couple times, get some things. Now let's explain endurance charges. So here we have 12% physical damage reduction. That's what we get for 3 of these. And then 3 gets us 12% all elemental res. I don't really care about the res because it's inconsistent. But imagine we could have some more uptime on the endurance charges. But with, like I've been pointing out, the flask, the enduring focus, you remove Immortal Call because it'll consume your endurance charges unless you can get them back in the time that your Immortal Call is active because of the longer duration. If you had more time with an active Immortal Call, then you'll have your endurance charges back at least, and it can tank a big hit. Yeah, there's also technically a spell or skill. It's called Enduring Cry, and you can get endurance charges based on how many enemies you taunt with it. But the problem is you have to have enemies nearby. It's the same problem. Now I'll explain Rune's Hellion. So this Rune's Hellion thing, dog has to taunt enemies, and the more enemies it taunts, the more it does, and it's like a 1 in 100 buff. So it literally needs like a lot of monsters to do a good buff, and then it's most of the time going to be pretty low, like 10% increased damage or something. It's like super terrible. If it was 10% more, it'd be insane, but it's only an increased, and we already have so much increased damage. So yeah, either way, total consensus of this video is people have asked questions about endurance charges. This is all the ways to get endurance charges. This is a way to use the endurance charge. That's a way to get, this is what they actually do. But now the actual question should come to people's minds. But Ethan, should we use them? And it's like, guys, for days, since that video stream you saw of like day 12 go up, and it said testing endurance charges, I've been playing with them since. So now I can make this video saying, hey guys, endurance charges are pretty goddamn good in this build because we have really bad physical damage reduction, and you'll feel a lot tankier when you start getting these physical damage things in. A couple other things to mention is the Watcher's Eye has 12% of physical taken as Ellie, so that also converts physical. You can take Gruthkul, as I pointed out. You can take Tukohama for the stationary physical damage reduction. The endurance charges from this is significant. Immortal Call is really nice. Just Soul of Steel on the skill tree. There's a bunch of ways to get physical damage reduction, especially this season, that you could play with as a Necromancer, and you'll probably feel a lot better. You don't have to just go endurance charges, but if you do, these are the ways I recommend, mostly Enduring Composure and Enduring Focus. These new cluster jewels are insane. So, oh yeah, Enduring Focus is actually not even on a small jewel, it's on a medium. And so then I look down the road of Enduring Focus, Megalomaniac with something. Yeah, it gets a bit complicated, because what else are you going to get on your endurance charge channeling medium? Is it going to be just a jewel socket and one notable? Because then you've used an extra whole 2 points just to put in Enduring Focus, which is while channeling, where we could just play with Enduring Composure and not really care. It's inconsistent, but we get hit a lot. Like for the few things I've been doing, like delving and stuff, I've noticed with the new build without Feeding Frenzy, you get hit a lot, so So yeah, the takeaway is, thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you now know maybe to go get an Enduring Composure small cluster jewel. You can also just implement endurance charges in general through the flask just to try it out, get a feel for it. Doedre's Elixir. You could try this. It's pretty cheap. If you don't already have an Animate Guardian, you could try the Ambush Charge first. See what you think. And yeah, don't really recommend Enduring Ward or Rote Reinforcement. I recommend Enduring Composure and Enduring Focus because of consistency. And then we probably, like I said, go down the channeling route super hard when we actually switch to this, and then we just go delving deep, and we're not blight anymore, or we use channeling when we blight because we don't want to switch the build anymore. We'll see. But either way, thank you guys for watching this episode. I hope you guys could learn something. I hope someone could learn at least one thing. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'm going to take this opportunity to thank my Patreon and YouTube members who financially support the channel. Thank you guys for all the support. I couldn't do this without you guys, and thank you to anyone new who joins on the Patreon or the YouTube members. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye!